Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be building a fish tank, and I'm going to walk you guys through it step by step. And before I begin, here are all the color codes that I used in today's video. To begin, start off with a basic shape cube, and using medium grid, resize it to a length of 10 and a height of 3.75. Using small grid, custom place 4 vertical wooden planks. Then using medium grid, resize them to a height of 3.75. Then using the transform tool, move them down to match the length of the base. From here, using small grid, transform them closer together to kind of resemble drawers. Use a small square beam to add extra definition. Then use a small round rod to add some custom handles. And then paint the entire completed base light stone gray. Grab another basic shape cube and using medium grid, resize it to a length of 10 and a height of 0.25. Then copy this 2 more times for a total of 3. Color 2 of them light stone gray and 1 of them beige. Set aside 1 of the light stone gray and the beige, as we will use these in a bit later. This is the point where you should recolor your plants to look more realistic so that they can go from this to this. You should also recolor your rocks so that they can go from this to this. Also, I forgot to mention, not only should you recolor your plants and rocks, but you also need to resize them all the way as small as they can be because they have to fit in the tank. Just thought I should add that in there since I forgot to mention it during the tutorial, but anyways, back to the video. If you choose to have plants that are from the decoration section, you would want to place them on one of the 3 basic shapes that we made earlier, since we can transform them down to fit into the tank and so that they don't stick out awkwardly. Then we can place this right on top of our aquarium base, and we can use a transform tool to transform it down to about 0.43. After this, place the second basic shape that we made earlier on top of this to give the base a foundation for the tank and also add detail. At this point, we should be using our 3rd basic shape that we made earlier, which is the beige colored one, and this will act as the sand layer. In this case, my choice in texture is plaster, but I did want to include various other choices since I think they all resemble a sand texture and primarily look very similar to each other, just in case you guys want to use something else instead. Okay, so now you can color your beige basic shape, whatever texture of your choice, and then you can just place that right on top of the base that we made earlier. It should end up looking something like this. Okay, so now I'm just finishing up the terrain and plants, so I'm adding a whole variety of my plants of choice and my rocks of choice. Obviously, you do not have to do it exactly like mine, but this is just what I find looks the most realistic, especially because I'm basing this off of freshwater and not saltwater. If I was building a saltwater, it would be a lot more colors because there's corals and stuff like that, but in usually like lakes and rivers, you usually just see greenery and fish and rocks. Anyways, once you're finished adding your plants of choice, you should have something that looks like this. So I chose 2 simple decals for my fish and livestock in the tank, and here are the codes. And I chose them because these are common freshwater fish, goldfish, and neon tetras. Obviously that will make it more realistic. Grab a transparent cube and resize it down to a height of 1.25, and then place your decal on it in a width and length of 0.25. And then using the transform tool, place it into the tank. So I have 2 options that I would use personally for water. One is foil and one is water caustics, and I chose water caustics in this example because it just looked better in this case. So I decided to color it a very light blue color, but you can always use the texture of your choice. Using medium grid, resize a transparent cube to the length of 10 and color a pale blue color with the texture of your choice. Using the transform tool, place this on top of the terrain layer and sand layer, and this will act as the water layer of our tank. Place another transparent cube on top of the water, and using small grid, resize it to a length of 10 and a height of 1. This will act as our oxygen layer. Now the aquarium portion of the tank is complete. The last thing we need to add is a lighting system. To do this, place a basic shaped cube on top of our oxygen layer, and using medium grid, resize it to a length of 10 and a height of 1.25. Then place a light box on top of it and resize it to a width and height of 0.2 and a length of 5. I used a toned down cloudy gray variation for my light color. And the final step is to use the transform tool to flip it upside down. That way it becomes the top of the tank and completes the entire aquarium. And the end result should look a lot like this. Alright guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this week's video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. And as always, I love you all, stay rad, I'll see you next week. Bye everyone.